With the escalating geopolitical tensions among world powers, the United States' decision to unveil the new powerful F-15EX comes at a crucial time. With over 50 years of service, this fighter jet has been a symbol of the U.S. aviation strength, and now it is back with renewed strength. This fighter is ready to dominate the skies and take on modern threats. What are the key improvements in the F-15EX? What makes it more advanced than earlier models? Join us as we unveil the new F-15EX Eagle fighter jet with capabilities that has sent shockwaves across technologically advanced countries. During the Cold War era, the world was concerned with bolstering their country's defense system, investing in the creation of unrivaled military arsenals. However, in July 1967, the Soviet Union was the first to shock the world when it revealed its latest weapon in the sky at an air show near Moscow, the formidable MiG-25 Foxbat. This aircraft was unlike any other. It could fly at a top speed of Mach 283, has a strong radar, and can carry up to 4 air-to-air missiles. Its intriguing abilities were discovered when Viktor Belenko, a Soviet MiG-25 pilot, flew to Japan and left the Soviet Union. After studying the aircraft, experts found that it had a basic but effective design using vacuum tube electronics, 2 big turbojet engines, and only a small amount of high-tech materials like titanium. With its 2 powerful engines, twin vertical tails, this jet quickly became the talk of military circles. As an interceptor, the MiG-25 typically can carry 4 R-40 long-range air-to-air missiles. These missiles come with either an infrared seeker or a radar-guided seeker and can hit targets up to 35 to 60 kilometers away if they are flying high and coming toward the plane. The Soviet Union interceptor could also carry a fuel tank under its body, and it was capable of dropping unguided bombs in a basic strike role using the same system designed for nuclear weapons. Since these bombs weighed no more than the R-40 missiles, the aircraft's performance was not affected. At high altitudes of 20,000 meters and speeds above Mach 2, the plane could drop a 500-kilogram bomb several kilometers away. In theory, the MiG-25 could fly faster than Mach 3 and reach heights of 27 kilometers. However, its engines would overheat and get damaged at these speeds, so it was limited to Mach 2.83. The plane's regular cruising speed was Mach 2.35 using a partial afterburner. The maximum speed of Mach 2.83 could only be maintained for about 5 minutes to avoid overheating. If the airframe temperature reached 290 degrees Celsius, a warning light would turn on, and the pilot would have to slow down. Flying with a partial afterburner at altitudes of 19,000 to 21,000 meters gave it a range just 230 kilometers less than when flying at subsonic speeds at lower altitudes. Without using the afterburner, the plane could fly up to 12,000 meters. However, its engines were not fuel efficient at subsonic speeds because they had a low pressure ratio. The engines consumed 1.12 pounds of fuel per hour per pound of thrust during cruise and 2.45 pounds with afterburners, which was worse than the F-15 Eagle's engines during cruise, but similar when using afterburners. The capabilities of this aircraft was enough to send shockwaves through the U.S. Air Force, which soon realized their need for a new fighter to dominate the skies, something they hadn't built since the legendary F-15EX Sabre, a transonic jet fighter aircraft of the 1940s. By December 1967, the race was on. General Dynamics and McDonnell Douglas were given contracts to create new designs for a superior air combat fighter, one that could outperform any Soviet jet. After an intense competition, McDonnell Douglas secured the F-15 contract in December 1969. Despite no fly-off to prove its worth, many doubted the decision, fearing cost, overruns, and delays. But those fears were eventually forgotten when this aircraft went on to become one of the Air Force's most successful fighter jets. The Eagle had its first flight in 1972 and became operational in 1976. Since then, it has been very successful, winning over 100 air flights without any losses recorded, mostly thanks to the Israeli Air Force. Initially, the Airfighter was built mainly for air warfare, but it is also equipped with the ability to perform ground attacks with mind-blowing precision. But this feature was not used as much. In war, the presence of friendly troops often means pilots need to see their targets before attacking. To this effect, the F-15 has a large radar. The jet is 64 feet long and 43 feet wide, wider than a tennis court. It has two engines, giving it more power than the single-engined F-16. The F-15 has a metal body with strong wings that stick out at shoulder height. The wings are shaped like a triangle with a 45-degree front edge. They have control flaps on the back, but none on the front, keeping the design simple and light. The wings are thicker near the body and thinner at the tips. Its tail is made from metal and composite materials, with two tail fins built from aluminum and a honeycomb structure covered with boron composite. The horizontal tail parts are also made from composite and move independently to help with certain maneuvers. The design of the F-15 is quite sophisticated. It has a brake on top of the body for slowing down and three wheels that tuck away during flight. Its two Pratt & Whitney engines with afterburners give extra speed and are fed air through adjustable front openings. The cockpit is high up at the front with large windows for a clear view. In the 1960s, the jet started using advanced titanium parts made with a special process. This aircraft is renowned to be very agile because it has a low weight-to-wing area ratio and a high thrust-to-weight ratio, letting it turn tightly without losing speed. It can climb to 30,000 feet in about a minute. Its engines sometimes produce more thrust than the plane weighs, allowing it to shoot straight up into the sky. Being designed for one person to handle in air combat, the basic version has one seat and focuses on air combat superiority. The B and D models have two seats for training, but can still fight. The E model has two seats, with the second for a crew member to manage weapons. One special feature of the F-15 is that it doesn't have turkey feather covers on its engine nozzles. These were removed because they caused problems and increased air resistance by 3%. In 1983, an Israeli F-15D pilot, Zibi Nadibi, safely landed the plane after losing most of one wing in a collision. He controlled the damaged jet with maximum engine power and landed at twice the normal speed. Tests later showed that control was only possible within a small range of speeds and wing angles, leading to research on flight control systems that adapt to damage. The F-15's avionics system includes a head-up display, advanced radar guidance systems, communication tools, navigation systems, and electronic warfare equipment. It can also identify friend or foe, aircraft trick enemy radar, and process information with a central computer. The HUD shows important flight and targeting info in front of the pilot, so they don't have to look away during combat, even in different lighting. The jet uses advanced radar to detect targets above and below, ignoring ground disruptions. This radar tracks fast-moving objects from far away to close up and helps the pilot accurately aim weapons. In close combat, it quickly spots enemies, and the info shows up on the HUD. The electronic warfare system warns of threats and can disrupt enemy tracking. Later, the radar was upgraded to an electronically scanned array version in the APG-63 V2 and V3 models. This radar can quickly track multiple targets and work with the jet's weapons, improving the performance of missiles like the AIM-120 AMRAAM. The F-15 can carry many air-to-air weapons and has an automated system to help the pilot use them safely. The system shows info on the HUD and controls on the engine throttle or stick. When switching weapons, the HUD updates with the new info. This aircraft can also carry a specific range of missiles like the AIM-7 Sparrow or AIM-120 AMRAAM missiles on the lower fuselage and AIM-9 Sidewinder or AIM-120 AMRAAM missiles under the wings. It also has a 20mm M61 Vulcan Gatling gun built into the right-wing root for defense. The C&D models use conformal fuel tanks that fit close to the body around the engines, carrying extra fuel and reducing the need for mid-flight refueling. Though they create some drag, it's less than regular external tanks, and they can't be dropped during flight. However, in the 2010s, the U.S. Air Force faced a shrinking number of fighter jets in the 2020s due to budget cuts and a focus on counterterrorism after the 2001 attacks. The plan to buy 381 F-22s to replace older F-15s was reduced to just 187 by 2009. To maintain enough fighters, the USAF planned to upgrade 179 older F-15CD jets with new radar and electronic systems extending their service life to the 2030s. However, by the mid-2010s, these jets were too old to keep, and delays in the F-35 program created a need for new fighters. Restarting F-22 production was too expensive, so the USAF worked with Boeing to develop the F-15EX, a modern version of the F-15 based on export models like the F-15QA for Qatar. The F-15EX includes advanced radar better flight controls and the ability to carry more missiles with plans to build up to 104 jets for the USAF. Despite the United States Air Force's plans to replace their older F-15s with the newer F-22 Raptor by the 2010s, they did not buy as many F-22s as they hoped. Because of this, they kept some older F-15s in use until 2026 and started using a new version called the F-15EX Eagle II. The F-15X is better than the earlier variants in aspects including the AOSA radar and infrared search and track system, and the EPO-DOS electronic warfare system, which were taken from previous F-15 upgrades. It also added features from the F-15QA, like a stronger structure that can last 20,000 hours, a new cockpit improved flight controls, and the Amber system, which allows it to carry up to 22 air-to-air missiles. Although this aircraft isn't as stealthy as fifth-generation jets, like the F-22 or F-35, it can still help with air superiority missions. It can defend the homeland, and air bases enforce no-fly zones in areas with weaker air defenses and launch large standoff weapons to support stealth fighters. In July 2020, the U.S. Department of Defense ordered 8 F-15X for $1.2 billion over 3 years. The aircraft had its first flight on February 2, 2021, and was officially named Eagle Lighter Sioux on April 7 that same year. Just a month after its first flight, the Air Force received its first Eagle II. On July 16th, Air Combat Command Chief General Kenneth Wilsbach announced that Boeing's aircraft had achieved initial operational capability with the U.S. Air Force. This milestone was reached a year later than expected because of production delays. A 1-year buffer was added for the initial operational capability, which will be completed the next month. That same year, the defense budget set aside $1.23 billion to buy 12 more F-15EX, bringing the total order to 20, with a plan for 144 jets. By May 2022, the U.S. Air Force reduced its planned order to 80 aircraft. The first F-15EXs won't have conformal fuel tanks, but the Air Force's 2024 budget proposes buying 24 more jets, bringing the total fleet to 104. What makes this aircraft special compared to the other earlier variants is that it offers faster speeds, longer range, and lower operating costs compared to earlier versions. It can reach speeds of Mach 2.9 thanks to its 2 General Electric F-110GE 129 engines, each producing 29,500 pounds of thrust with afterburners. This speed is close to that of the legendary SR-71 Blackbird, making the Eagle II the fastest fighter jet in the world. It also has the longest air-to-air combat range of any fighter jet in the U.S. Air Force. The Eagle II is the first U.S. Air Force F-15 to have digital fly-by-wire controls and a glass cockpit with a touch screen. It has fly-by-wire flight controls, APG ERA-81V1 ASA radar, which gives it a longer range and better ability to track and attack multiple targets with precision. The jet uses an open mission systems design. This design makes the jet more flexible, allowing easy upgrades with new technology, ensuring it stays useful for years. OMS also boosts the fighter's ability to operate on its own when disconnected from the global cloud network and reconnect when needed. The aircraft also features upgraded sensors and digital cockpits with flat-screen technology and advanced APG-82 electronic scanning radar and the Eagle Passive Active Warning and Survivability System, which greatly enhance its survival capabilities compared to earlier models. The cockpit also includes a powerful new computer, a 19 by 4-inch HD touchscreen, and an additional screen in the back seat for a co-pilot, though the jet is usually flown by a single pilot. The pilots in its cockpit will benefit from this aircraft's smart helmet system called the Joint Helmet Mounted Cueing System, which allows them to target enemies accurately without having to aggressively maneuver the aircraft. All information about the aircraft's status and weapon systems is displayed on the helmet-mounted display, reducing the pilot's workload but slightly limiting combat capabilities. Being propelled by two powerful engines, F-110, GE-129 engines, each providing 29,000 pounds of thrust. That type of power makes the aircraft faster, more agile and responsive, reaching speeds of up to Mach 2.5. That's quicker than the Russian Su-57, a twin-engine stealth multi-role fighter aircraft that was developed by Sukhoi, which reaches a speed of Mach 2, and the American F-35, which goes up to Mach 1.6. This fighter is designed to be the most heavily armed in the world, which gives it an edge over other air fighters. With 12 attachment points for air-to-air missiles and 15 for air-to-ground missiles, this airfighter can carry up to 13 tons of weapons. It can hold 22 AIM-9X Sidewinder and AIM-120D AMRAAM missiles, which have a range of up to 180 kilometers. In comparison, the F-35 can carry only 4 missiles internally. The Lockheed Martin F-35 Lightning II is an American fighter jet with 1 seat and 1 engine. It's designed to be stealthy and can perform a variety of roles, including air combat and strike missions. It also has advanced features for electronic warfare and can gather intelligence, conduct surveillance, and do reconnaissance. The idea is for the F-35 and F-15EX to work together in combat. The F-35 would stealthily find enemy targets, and the F-15X would strike with its powerful weapons. The F-15EX also has a longer service life, with 20,000 flight hours compared to the F-35's 8,000 hours. Together, these airfighters would be a combined force to reckon with. Although the F-15EX costs $87.7 million each, close to the F-35's price of $78 to $79 million, it is cheaper to operate, costing between $27,000 and $29,000 per flight hour compared to the F-35's $38,000. Lockheed Martin plans to reduce the F-35's cost per hour to $25,000 by 2025, but the F-15X's cost may also drop, keeping it budget-friendly. Besides this, the newest F-15 has the latest Suite 9.1 software in common with upgraded legacy aircraft. Due to insufficient F-22 procurement, the F-15's CTD fleet has continued flying beyond its design service life, posing a serious risk of structural failure. The jet's suite of powerful new systems and weaponry makes the F-15X one of the most advanced aircraft flying today, with more survivability than 5th-generation platforms such as the F-35. Speaking of Russia and China, both superpowers are terrified of the F-15X because it was designed to counter China's J-20 fighter and Russia's Su-57 stealth aircraft. The Chengdu J-20, also known as the Mighty Dragon or NATO's Fagan, is a Chinese stealth fighter jet developed by Chengdu Aerospace Corporation for the People's Liberation Army Air Force. It is a fifth-generation aircraft designed to dominate the skies and perform precise strikes. S druge strane, Sukhoi Su-57, također poznat kao Falon u NATO-u, ruski je borbeni zrakoplov s 2 motora i stealth značajkama. Razvio ga je Sukhoi kao dio programa PAK-FA, koji je započeo 1999. godine kako bi se stvorila moderna i isplativa alternativa starijem projektu. Su-57 je prvi ruski vojni zrakoplov izgrađen stealth tehnologijom i cilj mu je biti osnova za novu generaciju stealth borbenih zrakoplova. Može obavljati razne uloge, uključujući zračnu borbu i napade na kopnene i morske ciljeve, a uključuje značajke poput prikrivenosti, izvrsne manevarske sposobnosti, velike brzine i napredne elektronike s velikim kapacitetom korisnog tereta. Sukhoi Su-57 dizajniran je kao svestraniji i sposobniji stealth lovac u usporedbi s Lockheed Martin F-22. Sukhoi se pozabavio nekoliko ograničenja F-22 kao što su nemogućnost korištenja vektoriranja potiska za naginjanje i skretanje ograničen prostor za oružje i problemi s povratkom iz stanja zastoja. Dizajniran kao višenamjenski borbeni zrakoplov, ima velike unutarnje prostore za oružje, za nošenje raznih vrsta oružja, bez utjecaja na prikrivenost. Njegov napredni sustav upravljanja letom i manevarska sposobnost omogućuju mu izvođenje manevara pod velikim kutom i super krstarenje brzinom od 1,3 mača, s dometom od preko 1500 i mogućnošću dopunjavanja goriva u zraku, ima znatno bolje performanse u usporedbi sa starijim zrakoplovima. Nema sumnje da bi Su-57 mogao biti sofisticiraniji od F-22. Međutim, suočiti se s kombiniranom snagom Eagle 3 i F-35 Lightninga ili je pobijediti bilo bi nemoguće. Hvala na gledanju. Dok ste još ovdje, kliknite na poveznicu na svom ekranu kako biste pogledali još jedan od naših videa. Vidimo se tamo.